This is TWiT.
So Flo, you have been busy, as you said. You've been busy with Apple's latest devices, of course. Mm-hmm. But stepping back in history a little bit, you were also spending a lot of time with Samsung's foldables. I have the foldables here in the studio. I have not spent nearly as much time with them as I had hoped, but you have. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of like your experience with these foldables, how you think Samsung's doing right now?
I would love to. So first of all, here's my Z Fold 4.
Oh, looks so
stylish. As you can see, I have a cute Kate Spade case on it. They sent me this case to try out, and I wanted to see what it would be like to use the Fold 4 with a case because I didn't get to do that during the review process. And it's a little...
Not good?
It changes the experience a little bit.
Yeah, what changes about it so much?
So what changed about it is I actually like made notes here as I'm like referring to them is your finger kind of like drops in.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because the lip on the outside to keep the screen protected, but that kind of interferes with kind of the fall off of the display on the side. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So here's kind of like what my usage has been like. I'm still using the Z Fold 4 every single day. I've been traveling with this. It is a really fantastic device. I think the reason I love it the most is because it is basically a folding tablet. I would rather just type everything with this thing open. And actually when I use it and when I tested it mostly as a tablet device because that's where its strength is. It is a portable tablet device to the point that using it when it's closed might feel a little awkward because this is a slightly more narrow phone than what you're used to in the Android world. It's not like nice and wide the way that the Samsung Galaxy S22 or the Pixel 6 is. It's like this slightly thinner brick. And it does feel kind of like a brick because when you fold it up closed, it gets dense.
Yeah,
so
it's super
whereas
dense.
It feels really light and thin when it's splayed out as a tablet, if you fold it back up, it feels like this dense little phone that is going to weigh down your pocket a little bit. Especially if you have one of those like flowy pockets, you know, like in a pair of linen pants. By the way, really hard to carry this in a pair of linen pants. And we had some hot weeks here. Yeah. And it just like moves around. It's very annoying.
I know exactly what Flo is talking about because I wore like some like studio joggers from like an athletic brand, and like the phone was like banging against my knee because it was like pulling my pocket down. So I absolutely feel this.
I can totally understand. Like this thing is heavy, and when it's folded up, I mean, not only is it heavy, but it's heavy. It's concentrated heavy. You know what I mean? At least here, like when it's folded out, it like tricks your mind into thinking it's not heavy because it's spread across two hands. But when it's just this, I mean, you called it a brick, and that's really the word that comes to mind for me too.
You can look through it.
Jeez. So for our audio viewers, Flo is holding.
You're right.
Flo is holding the phone in the folded mode on the small side up to her eye like a telescope or like a ViewMaster.
It doesn't close all the way. It has a little space in the middle.
Yeah, I can see. I can't really see clearly, but I can definitely see through it. Oh, that's weird. I didn't.
See?
That's how it keeps the display from totally creasing in on itself.
Yeah. Crease. Oh.
Yep.
So the Z Fold 4, the strength that it really has is that the software it's totally optimized for this form factor. And that's why I enjoy using it like splayed open. So right now, the life that I'm living, I have my primary phone, which is my primary phone number, and that kind of sits dormant. It just goes with me everywhere. And then during the day, right now I'm using the iPhone because I'm just kind of like still collecting data about it. And then at night, I get into bed with my like face mask and I take out the Z Fold 4 and it's just me and my girl, the Z Fold 4, and we're reading the newspaper, and we're on TikTok, and we're on Instagram, and we're just like reading and catching up on the day's news that I didn't get to read during work. And so I've built this like really nice ritual around the Z Fold 4 to the point that I don't want to give it up. And eventually I'm going to have to give back the phone.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to spend $1,300 on the base model of this device.
I mean, it's a pricey device. You got to really want this
pricey
device.
life change.
Yeah.
Because you're going to change the way that you use your phone. Like, this is not a phone that I can like, hey, what's up? I mean, you can do this, but eventually your arm is going to get tired. It's the phone that you have to really rely on having the buds and the watch with it.
Right.
Because what this will become is like, you know, a pocket computer. That's what it essentially is. It's a pocket computer and you need peripherals for it.
It's more a pocket computer than most smartphones. And we can already consider our smartphones a pocket computer. And this thing kind of takes that to the next level. Along those lines, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. If you take my my overhead, it has the kind of bottom of the display kind of launch bar or whatever. How have you liked that? That's new with this phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's new. And I love it. So what it does is it will, let's see. So I'm going to unlock it. We've got my Bots Mirror background. I still haven't changed. I paid $1 for this, by the way.
It is the best.
I'm not changing it. Okay. So what we'll do is, hold on. I opened the newspaper app. So let's just not read the headlines.
But then see.
At the bottom, there's this little dock. And what it does is that it'll put your you can't see this on my screen, but it'll put your last 2 apps over next to the navigation area. And I don't use gestures. I'm using the Android navigation as God intended. So the apps will populate next to that. And then you have I have my dock of 6 apps that I always have pinned down there. And I've developed, again, a routine around it. Some apps that are previously phone only actually work really well on this. So I'm playing games with the phone open. I just really love having a tablet back. You know, I haven't really had this lifestyle with a phone or a device like this since the Nexus 7.
I'm telling you, this is less about, although I guess I could say it's about the foldable, but I think it's more about how the world needs good tablets, right?
And
yeah,
Google,
and now
Google understands
is more
that.
Optimized for it.
Yeah.
So, I'm more open to it. But I have to say, guys, the battery life on this thing, I'm a little, because when you're using that big screen, I mean, that's just like sucking up all the battery, and you're going to be using it. That's why you're spending all this money on this device. You're not going to stay on that small screen all day, I don't think.
Oh, that tiny little screen on the front. It's just so cute. And narrow.
That tiny little super AMOLED, 120 hertz refresh rate.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's a pretty screen. It's just very narrow. And even if this was just the phone, you'd maybe get used to it. But when you've got this hanging out on the inside, it's really hard to use this tiny little narrow screen on the front.
It is.
But I'm really happy. That's not to say that they haven't totally made strides on this front screen. Because if you remember the first year that they did this, it was laughable how unusable it really was because it was so incredibly narrow. Now it's actually nearer to a real phone, right? Like I have it up next to the Z Flip, which is really more like a true candy bar phone, except that it also flips. But so they're getting there. And I don't know that they need to go much further than this because you're not getting this for the front display. You're getting it for the inside.